A lawmaker from Mali just got 3 years in prison for calling a president names. This is Kenya News Update today. Coming up, you'll discover how a single insult ignited a diplomatic firestorm between two West African nations and what it reveals about the new power struggles reshaping the continent. Meet Mamadou Hawa Gassama, a member of Mali's transitional parliament. Last July, he took a trip to neighboring Ivory Coast. And then something shocking happened. He was arrested. Prosecutors said he described Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara as a tyrant and an enemy of Mali in interviews and on social media. But here's the twist. This isn't just about free speech. This is about a region in chaos. Since Mali's military junta seized power in 2020, relations with Ivory Coast have been on ice. Ouattara, an 84-year-old leader who just won a controversial fourth term, is a key ally of France. And he's been a vocal critic of the coup in Mali and others across West Africa. So when Gassama spoke out, it wasn't just an insult. It was a political grenade. Prosecutors argued his remarks were a deliberate attempt to undermine Ivorian institutions and sow discord. And the court agreed. 3 years in an Ivorian jail. Here's the part that will blow your mind. This is a reminder of a much deeper feud. 2 years after Mali's coup, 49 Ivorian soldiers were arrested in Mali. They were sentenced to 20 years in prison for allegedly undermining state security. Ivory Coast denied it, saying the troops were part of a UN peacekeeping mission fighting jihadists. They were only freed after intense mediation by Togo. That's the explosive backdrop to the single lawmaker's fate. But here's what nobody's talking about. Since that incident, Mali's junta has made a seismic shift. They've kicked out the UN peacekeeping mission. They've forced French troops to leave after nearly a decade fighting an Islamist insurgency. And instead, they've turned to a new partner, Russia. Russian mercenaries from the Wagner Group are now on the ground, dealing with the insecurity that plagues the Sahel. This one prison sentence is a tiny window into a massive geopolitical realignment. The old order, backed by France and the UN, is crumbling. A new one with Russian influence is rising. And caught in the middle are people like Gassama. His own government in Bamako hasn't even commented on his case. His lawyer calls the 3-year sentence excessive and severe. But the message from Ivory Coast is clear. Criticize the president, face the consequences. This case forces us to ask a bigger question. Is this about protecting a leader's dignity, or is it about silencing political dissent across borders? Some see a strong message against destabilizing rhetoric. Others see a dangerous precedent where neighboring countries jail each other's politicians. But if calling a leader a tyrant gets you 3 years, what happens to regional diplomacy? The implications are huge for a continent where coups are becoming common and alliances are shifting overnight. The tension between French-backed stability and new Russian partnerships is creating a volatile new map of power. And ordinary people and politicians are paying the price. Do you think a 3-year prison sentence for insulting a foreign leader is justified, or is it a dangerous attack on free speech? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe to Kenya News Update today for more on the stories reshaping Africa and the world.